Man, shit, I need to find a new fucking game, dude. So we get everything set up. Huh. When did this game drop? February 11th? That was yesterday. Ah, move the cat. I'm almost done. You gotta go outside that goddamn bad doggo. Well, at least you're telling me now before I start the stream. Just let the dog take a piss real quick. Gucci sons. Let's not get too excited now, see.
Most manga fans are familiar with, due to the intense physical and hiatus, a word most manga fans are familiar with. Due to the intense physical and mental demands of creating manga, most series experience a hiatus once or twice during publication, but there are a few series that probably come to mind above all else when the word is mentioned. Hunter x Hunter, Berserk, and Vagabond. While all three are known for extensive and frequent hiatuses, one of them stands out. Hunter x Hunter has spent most of its lifespan on hiatus, but every year or so Togashi releases a batch of chapters. As a matter of fact, just recently he posted a picture of himself working on the manga to Twitter. Berserk also spent many years on and off hiatus, but with Miura's unfortunate passing a few years ago, the reins shifted to Studio Gaga, and they have been releasing chapters more or less regularly ever since. So that leaves Vagabond, which hasn't seen a new chapter since 2015. Takehiko Inoue has finished manga before, massively popular and critically acclaimed ones at that. He's also still working on another series, albeit very infrequently, which was last updated as recently as a few months ago. So why has Vagabond, viewed by most as his greatest work, Inoue himself included, been untouched for the better part of a decade? What led to this man practically abandoning his masterpiece? Well, to understand that, we have to go back to the beginning.
Hello, kitty.
Inoue was born January 12th of 1967 in Kagoshima, a prefecture at the southern tip of Japan's Kyushu Island. From an early age, Inoue was fond of drawing, and he always assumed he would work in some artistic field, but he was unsure of which direction he would take. Despite reading manga as most kids did, becoming a manga artist wouldn't be a thought in his mind until years later. It was the experiences he had in high school that eventually led him down this path. In junior high, Inoue would join both the kendo and basketball clubs at his school, the latter in order to impress girls. Does that sound familiar? Similar to the main character of his manga Slam Dunk, he joined for superficial reasons, but found himself falling in love with the sport and growing immensely because of it. His team was not very good. They lost more than they won, but through all the losses and the occasional wins, he learned many things. He came to greatly appreciate the progress he made with his team, something he would hold on to all his life and eventually put in his manga. This energy was also something he found in a certain manga series. Around this time, Inoue discovered Dokuben, a baseball manga created by Shinji Mizushima. The manga displayed an immense passion for team sports, something Inoue himself had just recently developed, and immediately Inoue felt a connection to the story. It's hard to find out much about this series online. All I could find were some scans of the manga as it was originally published, meaning in Japanese. But what I could make out from the illustrations was that a rough, delinquent sort of character rolls into this high school and joins a baseball team. Now pairing that with Inoue's experience in his high school basketball club, we get a pretty vivid picture of how Slam Dunk was formed, though it would be quite some time before that would happen. Inoue's discovery of Dokuben is almost certainly what set him down the path of becoming a manga artist. It came at the perfect time, a transitional period where he was unsure of the direction he wanted to take with his life. At the end of his senior year in high school, Inoue came to an impasse. He desperately wanted to become an artist, but he felt his skills weren't at a high enough level to pursue fine arts in university. This is a bit ironic looking back because Inoue has some of the most stunning, picturesque art in the medium, but back then it was a different story. That style is something he would develop after years of experience. Instead of taking any formal art training, save for a prep school course in the summer of his senior year, Inoue went to Kumamoto University to study literature. Now, you may be thinking this is where he developed his phenomenal writing skills, his ability to create intensely emotional characters and philosophical plotlines, but it's not. Inoue dropped out before even completing his first year. You see, while he was studying, Inoue was sending manuscripts to Shonen Jump rookie contests. Within a few months, his work was noticed by editor Taizo Nakamura, who not only encouraged him to continue drawing, but also got him a gig as an assistant on a popular series titled City Hunter, created by Hojo Tsukasa. It's under Tsukasa's wing that Inoue would really begin to flourish, spending 10 or so months learning from a bona fide and popular pro. The following year, 1988, Inoue would submit a one-shot titled K-Day Purple to Shueisha for the semi-annual Tezuka contest, and he'd go on to win the grand prize. This award is a massive step for manga artists, and it served to launch the careers of many of the most successful creators the medium has ever seen. Yoshihiro Togashi, Takeshi Obata, Masanori Morita, Hiroyuki Takei, and of course Inoue himself. Needless to say, the award itself was a huge milestone for Inoue, but the work he submitted was equally as, if not more, important. Sports manga have always been popular, but prior to K-Day Purple there had never been one about basketball, Inoue's most cherished sport. With the major success of the one-shot, Inoue was ready to take on a serialization. Taking all he had learned and using the knowledge that a basketball manga would do well, Inoue began working on Chameleon Jail. I'll bet you thought I was going to say Slam Dunk, and honestly I was a bit shocked to learn of this series too, but Slam Dunk wouldn't start until the following year. Inoue worked as the illustrator alongside Kazuhiko Watanabe on Chameleon Jail, a story about a shape-shifting detective from the end of July to October 16th of 1989. It lasted only a couple volumes, so clearly it was not a big success. Little is known about the creative process behind this obscure manga from the 80s, but based on the following trajectory of Inoue's career, one can only assume the experience on the series convinced Inoue that it would be best to work alone. And boy, was that ever a good decision, because his next work would explode into Japan's cultural zeitgeist and leave an impact that lasts to this day. In 1990, Inoue began Slam Dunk. This series combines everything Inoue has learned about manga with his immense passion for the sport of basketball into what is arguably, and you'd have a damn easy time making this argument, the greatest sports manga of all time. Slam Dunk was a massive success almost instantly. Its eye-catching art and lovable characters grasped audience attention and never let go. Slam Dunk follows Sakuragi Hanamichi, a rather slow delinquent teen who joins his high school's basketball team in order to impress a girl, only he has no skills for the sport whatsoever. As the plot progresses, Sakuragi grows both in skill and as a person, and comes to form indestructible bonds with his teammates. It's an underdog story through and through. Sakuragi's unabating efforts to improve deeply resonated with the Japanese readers. It took only a few months of publication for Inoue to begin receiving letters from fans describing how much they loved the story, and more importantly, how it inspired them to take up playing basketball. Deeply moved, Inoue would pour even more of his heart into the story. 3 years later, Slam Dunk would get a TV anime adaptation, sending basketball's popularity in Japan to the f***ing moon. I could go into much more detail about the cultural revolution behind this manga, but that isn't exactly what this video is about. Still, this is important context for Inoue's career, so let's do a rapid-fire round of facts. Between 1990 and 1995, over 1 million Japanese citizens began playing basketball through high school and recreational leagues. Volumes 21 through 23 shattered the initial book print run with 2.5 million copies each, a record that wouldn't be broken until 2002 by a certain pirate manga. In 1994, the series was awarded the 40th annual Shogakukan Award in the Shonen category. Slam Dunk remains to this day, 30 years later, the best-selling sports manga of all time, with over 170 million copies in circulation worldwide. Slam Dunk was the first manga Inoue put his all into. He pulled things out of his heart and soul, threw them on the page, and sold millions of copies. His deep, intense love for the sport is evident all the way through to the end of the series, and even past into his later career. It wouldn't be ridiculous to claim that he might have even more passion for basketball than manga. Following the very successful years of Slam Dunk's publication, Inoue would launch a short online manga called Buzzer Beater. Again, the story was about basketball. That bug just couldn't escape his mind. He loved it way too much. But it would only last 2 years, 4 volumes total. After Buzzer Beater, Inoue was hardly drawing anything and was seriously considering just ending his manga career. That was when an editor handed him a novel. There was no intention to spark inspiration. He did this simply to help Inoue kill time. That novel was Musashi by Eiji Yoshikawa, a fictionalization of famed philosopher Miyamoto Musashi's life. Inoue cracked the book open, began reading, and was awestruck. His hands started shaking with the desire to draw these characters. Later that year, Vagabond would begin publication. From page 1, the impact Yoshikawa's novel had on Inoue is evident. Inoue said he wanted to draw these characters and this story, but when you read Vagabond, it seems more like he was born to do so. Feudal Japan is illustrated with incredible detail. The series is filled with many stunning illustrations of nature that sometimes focus on small details, such as a blade of grass or a droplet of rain with precision that seems inhuman. Incredibly, this level of detail would remain throughout the series even after he switched from using pens to brushes for the art. What the brush lacks in control, it makes up for with line fluidity. Inoue's line work is so seamless it almost feels like it's breathing, but somehow Inoue manages to keep the same detail with his brushwork that he had with his pens. How? I couldn't begin to tell you, but why he made that choice? That I can. See, Inoue was inspired by the director Akira Kurosawa, who has such an incredible laundry list that we'd be here for hours if I went through it. But Kurosawa produced the most iconic samurai movies of all time, so naturally Inoue saw it as the gold standard and wanted his work to be reminiscent of it. The switch over to brushes was in order to capture that gritty, dark feeling Kurosawa's films embodied. But reading through Vagabond, it's clear Kurosawa had a large impact on the way Vagabond is laid out. Vagabond, as a samurai story, of course has many battle scenes. Every last one of them is illustrated beautifully and paneled in a way that flows like you're watching a film. Having just worked on a sports manga, something that obviously includes a lot of physical activity, Inoue mastered the ability to accurately depict the human body's movement. Pairing that with the subject matter and inspirations of Vagabond, Inoue created a samurai story Kurosawa himself would have in all likelihood very much appreciated. Inoue had a lot to say with Vagabond. He wanted to cover more complex concepts such as life and death and the human condition, but he also felt that the Japanese people had lost touch with their history. He himself certainly had, so he hoped that he could spark some interest in it through Vagabond. Well, that he certainly did. Vagabond was a massive success. In the year 2000, he won the grand prize at the 4th Japan Media Arts Festival. Later that year, Vagabond won the 24th annual Kodansha Manga Award in the general category. 2 years after that, Vagabond won Inoue the grand prize of the 6th Tezuka Osamu Cultural Award, which is one of the most, if not the most, prestigious award in manga. But before all that, Inoue would start up a second series in 1999, running in tandem with Vagabond. This series was titled Real. It follows 3 high school students, 2 of which are wheelchair-bound, who make efforts to better themselves through the sport of basketball. After seeing televised games of wheelchair basketball, Inoue was inspired. He saw these athletes pursuing the sport they and Inoue alike love in spite of their physical condition, and he needed to draw it. Real is an intensely emotional story, one that confronts some of the hardest subjects in life. Characters experience an array of struggles and emotions. They face the fear that they are not enough, question whether they even can be enough because of their disabilities, but continue to try regardless of any of that. Vagabond and Real are both stories that do an incredible job of exploring the human condition, what it means to live, how one should go about living, but they do it from 2 different perspectives. Vagabond is a very solitary story. It follows one man on a self-centered path who, through his isolation, comes to realize the error in his ways. Whereas Real follows multiple characters who feel limited by their own condition, and it is through other people that they grow. This is speculation, but with what we know about Inoue's life, how he values team sports and the bonds formed from them, it seems likely that Real's way of addressing these topics was more personal and approachable to Inoue. There's also no denying Inoue's love for basketball as a sport. Regardless, both series would continue to be massively successful, winning awards and selling millions of copies, neatly coexisting for over a decade, but I think we all know where this is going. In April of 2009, Inoue was interviewed by Japanese newspaper Nihon Ippon Shimbun. That was very hard to pronounce for me. At this time, both Real and Vagabond were being regularly and successfully published. Inoue tells the interviewer that he suspects Vagabond will end in a year or 2, though he wasn't exactly sure of how it would end. He was certain that the pieces of his story were taking their final positions. The next year, 2010, Inoue reaffirms what he said in the interview, but that summer, Inoue falls ill and both his series go on hiatus. In October, he holds another interview where he states his health is much better and speaks on the state of Vagabond. But you must feel the desire to draw manga though, right? Vagabond in particular, the interviewer asks. I'd reached a point where I wasn't even sure of that. I became unsure of where I was heading, couldn't even remember where I'd started from in the first place. That's how busy I was. I was stuck doing the work for external factors for so long that I'd forgotten to look inside myself. Inoue responds. He then adds, well, speaking in terms of what I want to do, as I said before, I really don't at all have the urge to work on it right now. but I do know that if I don't work on it, I'll be in trouble down the road, and that's basically what was keeping me going until I went on hiatus. I don't think that's a good way of going about it. My hope is to stay away from Vagabond until all those unnecessary worries and emotions are gone, and I'm ready to draw it because I want to draw it. I'm not sure if I'll be allowed to wait that long, though. December of 2010, Real resumes publication. Vagabond stays on hiatus. Inoue posts to his blog saying Vagabond will stay on hiatus until he regains enthusiasm for the series. When asked why that is the case and if working on 2 series is so different, Inoue responds, "Totally different. With Real, I almost never worry about trying to do something completely original or express things stylishly, or at least I don't in terms of the artwork anyway. Vagabond is where I try to do new things with the art and draw the best that I can. So in that sense, drawing is pure enjoyment, whereas Real is me drawing squarely within my normal capabilities. It's like I've got 2 different modes. The process is almost like cooking with Real. Vagabond is something more personal. There's no formula. It feels like I'm making something that's not quite manga. Vagabond is almost something like running around a mountain or swimming in a river, in that there are no rules, but I have to use everything I have in me, in every situation, which is also what's so exhausting about it. I've been putting a ton of effort into the whole manga process for Real lately, and I've rediscovered a joy in it that Vagabond never gave me. The joy of manga, and being a professional manga artist. It must be how everyone else feels when they're drawing manga." Inoue seems to see working on Vagabond as a pursuit of perfection, or if not that, then something quite close. He feels this pressure to make it original and as good as it can possibly be. After recovering from an illness, he had no motivation to work on Vagabond because of that self-imposed pressure, but with Real he felt he could just enjoy drawing manga. It came to him easier, and I think that the content of the story, being basketball, improving oneself through an activity, not only felt more comfortable with Inoue's interests, but with where he was at creatively. He was trying to learn to enjoy drawing manga again, to improve his approach to working on his manga just like his characters in Real. Vagabond would remain on hiatus until March of 2012 with the release of Chapter 301. All the while, Real would continue its publication with a new chapter every month or so. It wasn't a completely regular schedule, but it was being published nonetheless. When Vagabond returned in 2012, it stayed until 2014, releasing nearly 3 full volumes worth of chapters. In February of 2014, following the release of Chapter 322, Inoue announced the series would be going on a 4-month hiatus for research purposes. That hiatus lasted nearly a year. In January of 2015, Inoue released Chapter 323. In February, 324, March 325, April 326, May 327, and that was the final chapter ever released. At this point, Real also began a long hiatus. No chapter was seen until 2019, and that year saw only 3. Chapters 85 through 93 of Real were published between 2019 and 2021. Chapter 9 was published earlier this year. Inoue's manga all saw great success. He loved the stories he created, so why? It's hard to say why someone does or doesn't do something when you're not that person, but what isn't hard to say is that writing is hard. Writing good stuff is, anyway. Anyone can write some schlock and ship it off to publishers, but that isn't what Inoue has been working with. In his hands, Inoue has a masterpiece. It's clear he holds Vagabond with an extreme level of reverence in his mind, and when both a wide audience and you yourself view the thing you've created as an important piece of art, the pressure is just unimaginable. Based on what he has said, it's clear Inoue refuses to continue Vagabond unless what he creates is absolutely perfect, an ideal that is made all the more hard to obtain by the pressure he puts on himself, one that is also exacerbated by the expectations of millions of fans waiting around the world, an expectation that increases as every single day passes. For Inoue, it is easier to fall back on Real, a story that does not have those personal and worldwide expectations on it, a story he actually enjoys writing, not doing so under the ever-present shadow of perfection like he has to with Vagabond. As consumers, it's easy for us to sit in our lazy boy recliners and complain about the lazy writer. Just draw the manga already, just write Winds of Winter, George. Just get to it, what's the deal? But what we don't see and what we don't understand are the years of effort, blood, sweat, tears, pain, research, dedication that went into building these stories up to how well regarded they are now, and how the fear of not being able to conclude all that in a satisfying way, not even for the readers, but for the sake of the art, for the story itself, is crippling. No amount of reassurance from fans or editors or whoever is going to change the fact that if Inoue isn't 100% satisfied with every last panel, every last line he draws, he is going to regret it for the rest of his life. To you, that might seem a bit overkill, but to him, to anyone who puts their soul into something, that is the bare minimum, and anything less would be a complete disgrace. So to answer the question I asked at the beginning, why did Inoue practically abandon Vagabond? Well, because perfecting your life's work, something many people consider a masterpiece, is the most frightening and daunting task a creative mind can face. It's not pathetic to be afraid in the face of that, nor should he be condemned for it. All artists and writers are people too. That fact doesn't change just because they reach some literary pinnacle. They don't suddenly become writing gods capable of overcoming monumental things the average person could not. Inoue is still that same kid, fresh out of high school, afraid his skills aren't good enough to pursue what he wants to do. He's also that same kid that experienced many of his happiest moments of his life on his high school basketball court. Basketball is possibly his biggest passion, and he has a deeply personal ongoing work about it to fall back on when he feels incapable of drawing Vagabond. And that's fine. Does that mean Vagabond will never return? No, absolutely not, and I guess it isn't really fair to say he abandoned it, though that makes for quite the catchy title. Last year, with the release of the new Slam Dunk movie, Inoue did an interview in which he commented on the state of Vagabond. What he said is that he fully intends to return to the series and in the near future too. Whether that means a year, 2, 5, nobody can tell, but not all hope is lost. He hasn't just given up completely, but he has wavered under the immense pressure that comes with creating such a piece of work, which is a very normal human thing to do. So as fans, we should eagerly await the manga's return, while showing some compassion for the person behind it.
So he's got like a major case of writer's block, and a major drop in like motivation.
Horror game. So around a month ago, a new horror game was announced where you play as a night zookeeper patrolling a zoo, but throughout the night you find some animals have mutated into monsters. This game is called Zoochosis, and it looks like it will be a pretty fun game. But while watching the trailer, I just couldn't help but remember a really creepy horror manga called G-Man. G-Man is a series about humanoid and disturbing zoo animals taking over the world as the main characters try to find a way to survive. The manga is very gory and has a lot of shock factor, but eventually it does get into a little bit of some lore. The big problem of this series is that it's really hard to find in English, since there's no real official translation. So the only way to really read this series is through fan translations. So even though only 44 out of the 146 chapters are translated, I still want to jump into this rabbit hole and explore the disturbing story of G-Man. Now, originally, I wrote that intro before reading the entire 44 chapters, and now that I finished this series, I can finally release some of my frustrations in this video.
But if you guys want to see more anime content like this one, then why not go down and hit that subscribe button.
And I'm running a poll for you guys to vote on the next anime I should talk about. I'll be giving my 100% honest thoughts, deep analysis on your favorite series in the next video essay. The poll will be running until April 22nd, so go down in the description below and get to voting. So first off, the beginning of the series was really good. The main character, Masato, is an animal lover that has been going to the Fuji Safari Zoo since he was in kindergarten, until he had to move away for 7 years. When he returned for high school, he also returned to the zoo and reunited with a zookeeper named Nakata, a girl classmate named Hitomi, and an elephant named Hayano. A virus goes around the next day that starts mutating the animals and giving them humanoid faces. One of those animals was Masato's friend Hayano, who attacks them later on. The zoo animals eventually get loose and spread to the town, spreading the virus to other animals like dogs and mice. A major part of this series and what makes it so interesting is its use of horror, specifically its gore, body horror, and mutated monsters. The extremely detailed look for the animals is super creepy. The disturbing nature of the art is what draws not just me, but most readers in. Just a look at some of these panels will get anyone interested in seeing more. And when I mean this series is gory, I mean really gory. I sometimes wonder if I could even show some of these panels on YouTube. But the rest of the artwork is also pretty good. The character designs and settings are all drawn really well, but artwork and scary monsters can't save an entire series. It continues with the 3 main characters exploring and trying to survive the onslaught of mutated monsters running rampant on the town. But the humanoid creatures are starting to get smarter. They're reading books, using hunting tactics, and even starting to speak. Later on, the whole world got a video sent to their phones. A humanoid pig, or G-Man as he calls them, giving an announcement about his plan to dominate the human race and create his own animal kingdom. So the rest of the story is the 3 main characters and Yusumi, who gets introduced in Volume 2, exploring towns, gathering resources, and heading...
That would fucking suck because there's so many more animals than humans, bro.
into a special defense force base looking for a way to escape the island. While we talked about the subgenre of gore and body horror, this series' main genre of horror is really survival horror. Mainly used in video games, the key point is to find a way to survive and escape horrific and violent environments, mostly seen in zombie movies or death game series. Some of my favorite series under this genre include Signal 100 and Doubt, where they use mystery, problem solving, and suspense to not only scare the reader but also shock them. When it comes to G-Men, the survival aspect is like a combination of the two. They're exploring, but they're also trying to escape at the same time. While the beginnings and endings of each volume are filled with story, lore, and some backstory to Masato, the middle parts of each volume seems to be sort of filler. I say that because I can shorten each chapter into a couple words without really affecting the main story as a whole. But it's not boring. The filler is actually fun to read and you get to see everything going around in town. These chapters also contain a lot of character development and build relationships between the main cast, so I say it's definitely worth the read. However, once it gets to volume 3, it really fumbles the ball. It starts adding really weird and unnecessary concepts to the story. First, it introduces the concept of the zookeepers and Nakata being spies for the G-Men, which I kinda understand, but it also begins to play with the idea that Masato is not human, and the only reason he likes hanging out with animals is because he's one of the G-Mens, which is a really weird plot twist and a very unnecessary reason for him to like hanging out with zoo animals. It was hinted at throughout the series with him understanding animals, but still, in the beginning, he was getting bullied for liking animals, so he couldn't build a relationship with people. That's all the reasoning you need. The thing that really ruined the series for me was the inclusion of the Jumans. So they introduced a drug that can turn humans into beasts for a limited amount of time. I thought it didn't have any purpose to this series, and the fact that it gave a little edge to fighting the G-Mens kinda ruined a bit of the horror for the survival aspect. It's like playing Outlast or Amnesia and they decided to give you guns and weapons in the middle of the game. Not only that, but the detailed artwork that carried the series so far became unreadable towards the end of the volume. So far in the story, their main objective have just been to escape the island through the self-defense base. But after the planned base didn't work out, they had no direction for the entire third volume. Until the beginning of volume 4, when the death of the elephant Hanayo led them to a new goal of finding a cure to the G-Men. But they meet the classmate that bullied Masato as a kid. Throughout the volume, they start to bond until at the end he gets murdered by a bear. But then the story just ends in a cliffhanger where Masato and the gang reach the safari and they get attacked by humans that were experimented on. It's been since August since the latest chapter was translated and released. The series ended in Japan back in 2019, and since I don't know Japanese, we won't really get to know the true ending. However, fans of the series on Reddit were able to translate the ending, and thankfully I was able to find the pages in Japanese to show you guys. So after the cliffhanger, they enter the lab to discover that Masato is a homunculus that can understand and lead animals, and that there's fountains around the area that when activated can release the cure to the G-Mens. One of the fountains is on top of Mount Fuji where Masato's father is waiting. We learned that his father is a researcher that started the experiment with Masato. He explains that the director of the zoo was a pig that was turned into a human from the G-Men project and wanted revenge on the humans that experimented on pigs and other animals. We also see that the director had a bunch of bird G-Mens ready to send to the world and spread the virus. The world sent an army to destroy the island and kill all the bird G-Mens. While the main cast was trying to escape the island by helicopter, the birds started to attack them. Masato sacrificed himself to save Hiromi and Nakata by distracting the bird G-Mens away from the helicopter leaving the island. When they land, the president wants to kill them, but they agree to a deal letting them live and not nuking the island. The last scene shows a short time skip where Hitomi is walking and she sees a puppy on the street, when a mouse bites the dog and transforms it into a G-Men. Overall, even though I couldn't read the whole series, I really liked the beginning and the concept of the whole series.
Like
I just thought it overdid everything with the extra weird and just useless material. I love the animal horror aspect of the series. I love the horrific visuals of the animals and the gore. I even scrolled through the Japanese pages of the later chapters just to see the creepy panels. I just wish that the story had a better direction and that the plot twists and characters were just handled better. I hope that the rest of the pages get translated soon, because even though I still didn't really like the story, I still recommend you guys read it for yourselves. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have read G-Men, I want to...
I've never read that one. Might have to look into that. Kojima.
Is rotten. Humanity long lost. This world is rotten. Humanity long lost its place as the crown of creation, decimated to nothing but a faint echo of their former glory by the endless assault of Aragami. There is nothing that can stop these monsters, nothing, apart from the God Eaters. Genetically altered super soldiers, wielding weapons infused with the very same cells that make up their foes. And they did hold the Aragami.
Oh. This guy basically just did like a redo of, Is there God Eater too? Thought that was gonna be a little different than what I thought that actually was.
Hey guys, welcome to my Minecraft Let's Play. Today we're talking about Deep Rock Galactic, a co-op sci-fi shooter for 1 to 4 short kings that answers the age-old question, what if Minecraft had guns? It is one of the highest rated games on Steam, right up there with the official DSM-5 autism test, and for good reason, since this is probably one of the best co-op shooters I've ever played. I would say the best, but I mean, come on. Despite being sci-fi, it takes you back to the good old days, where short people were coal miners, working all day and drinking all night, only to die to exploding spiders by the wipeout age of 24. I'm not even trying to be funny here, this is just pretty much the gameplay loop. And oh yeah, they're alien spiders. I love them. Deep Rock can be both incredibly relaxing or a heart attack inducing adrenaline filled rush. Let me show you.
Oh, so this is like a game that you play with friends. Yeah, well, you see, I don't have friends, so. I guess that one won't be for us.
Youngins trying to zoom in with the fits
Fuck it.
with the.
Listen to
We had
this.
this young dude pull up with a suit. He like a pallbearer. We respected it though. We was like, okay, hello.
Yeah, the old school P's were something else.
Yeah, you know that's what it came to. Everybody have colors. It was an organization.
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago, and I remember. Or before we get into this, I got to say I want to say this is just acting. As far as anyone's concerned, this is not real. This is all pretend, just to protect the.
I'm just a college student. You hear me? I'm just studying the game, and I like the way it went, and I want to.
This is as far as anyone's concerned. This is an audition.
Hello.
There we go. So now we can talk freely.
Hello.
I'm from Chicago, and I remember clearly. I remember in Chicago, a P will pull up in a total custom like Cadillac, Lincoln, Continental, Rolls Royce, whatever, customized to the hilt,
Some spectacular.
with a fedora, with a feather, and the custom everything on his.
Hello.
And the people would pull up, see him pulling through, and he'd park his car, and people would come, kids would come running, everybody would come running, like he's a celebrity, and he'd be giving out money sometimes, he'd be helping people, he'd be doing good deeds. It was like, what the fuck is like? It was crazy. It was like excitement every time he pulled up,
Yeah.
and it's deteriorated over the years into something like now it's just an embarrassment.
It's a whole gimmick now. Everybody's somebody. You hear me? Everybody's somebody. At the end of the day,
How old are you?
I'm 30.
You're 30. You're a
Yeah,
kid.
I'm 30. I feel like I'm 60, but at the end of the day, it is what it ain't what it is.
And how'd you get introduced to this?
Man, that's crazy. You know what? I was, you know me, I'm a city boy, so gang banging, all that, that's what we was into. You hear me? So at the end of the day, it was me, my boy JP. We went to Vegas with my boy T3. We didn't know what was going on. We gang banging, we in the city. But we went to Vegas with T3. I'm selling dope. You hear me? It's $100 a gram in Vegas. You hear me? So I'm selling dope. He a pimp. I don't know no pimp, man. We gang bang. We doing our thing. You hear me? So we in his room, his bitch came back with a Rolex. And she excited. We looking like, what the fuck? You got a what? Rolex. His bitch hit for a Rolex. And we ain't know what was going on. He cashed it out. He had almost 6-7 bands in his pocket. It's worth more than that, but he got 6-7 bands off of that. Me and homie JP just looking like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Nigga, that's it? And then I swear to God, on Pimp God, after that, changed my life. I started looking into it. Me and JP, we think we pimping. We out here just in the city like, yeah, we looking at sugar free. Life Jacket was the first Pimp song I listened to. That changed my life too. Then it was
So it wasn't
what's
really
the
born
name?
into it, or you just wanted to be
fucking
one.
Silky Slim changed my life. I started listening to him. I just felt like I was a pimp. I was a pimp. I ain't have no family, grew up as a pimp, nothing like that, but I always had bitches. You hear me? I always had bitches. I always had hoes, I always had bitches I was fucking on, and I leave them alone, get another bitch. I was fucking another bitch. I just had bitches. But I never knew that can be a valuable asset when it comes down to
Is it something
that.
a guy can learn?
When it come down to learning,
Because a lot of the P's will brag. It's just in me. It was, this is something I was born with. It wasn't something I learned.
see me, I was always fascinated with women. Like in middle school, my assistant teacher asked me, if you could wake up every morning and do something, what would it be? I'll wake up the women. I'll be around girls. I want to be around girls, and that was my answer. But it was just like me. I always used my way of how I looked, how I carried myself to pursue women. You hear me? So it was always about women. Like when I was 11, my cousin lived in Compton near Long Beach Boulevard. Me and my little brother, we used to sneak out my cousin's house. We spent over my cousin's house on purpose. Sneak out my cousin's house just to go to Long Beach Boulevard, ride the bikes. It was fascinating.
to watch it.
To watch it, it was, I swear to God, on Pimp God, it was fascinating. You hear me? But when I was younger, it looked like the women was older and more bummier. I don't know what it was, but it was just like the gimmick that they put in movies. Like, oh, if you, a prostitute, she's strung out, she nappy hair, she just, you know.
Girls now on figure,
dirty,
fine.
fire. Hello. Bad as in hello. Better than your baby mama, you did? But at the end of the day, it's like, the Blade was so fascinating that I didn't know what it was, but it was something about naked girls that I was fascinated when I was 11, just a young boy. But long story short, the homie bitch hit for a Rolex. Me and the homie, we end up pursuing the game and trying to figure out, we think we big old pimps and all that. We on a Blade, you know, doing all this weird ass shit that really wasn't no game. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But at the end of the day, it's like, we pursued it, but we learned as we went.
You learn by making mistakes?
Yes. My first bitch was 3 months after that. I went to a party, a regular house party. After the party, we, parking lot pimp, talk to the bitches, try to get in the bitches' numbers and all that. This bitch rolled up in the BMW. She was leaving. I yelled at her, like, what's up? What's going on? She stopped. Aimed her up, like, what's up? Give me your number. She ended up stopping. I got her number. And after that, like, boom, come back to the house and all that. No, she came back to the house. After she came back to the house, she ended up, talking about, oh, I'm about to go on this date. I'll be back. I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? You about to go on this date? Get me fucked up. Like, you about to go with another nigga? You about to go fuck with another nigga? Man, bitch, get on. Like, man, what the fuck? Get me fucked. I'm trying to fuck.
I'm trying to fuck.
I'm trying to fuck. You hear me? So I'm like, boom, man, fuck you. She like, I'm gonna come back. Man, all right, come back. I'm still trying to fuck.
my God,
I don't give a
guy.
fuck what she doing. Come back. She bad. Little Mexican chick named Star. Respectfully. Star.
Respectfully.
First hoe. She came back. She like, okay, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you got me fucked up. You want to go fuck with another nigga while I'm, hello. She like, I ain't say nothing though. So I'm like, still trying to cap her up. She like, boom, oh, I got this another date. Boom, you want to go? Like, woo, woo. I'm like, go with you to another nigga house? Like, you got me, what? She like, all right. She like, all right, just call me. You can drive. Just take me there. And then when I finish, I ain't know what's going on. You hear me? So she ended up doing that and all that. I took her to the Motel 6. She come back to the car with some money and gave me $60. I think she made like 120 or something, but she gave me 60. I'm like, oh, this bitch a hoe.
Yeah.
She wants to. I'm a pimp. Oh, I'm a pimp. Oh, I'm like, oh. So I didn't say none of that though.
He's so dumb.
So at the end of the day, we went back to the house and all that. So I'm feeling good. I call her home like, hey man, hey P, I got a bitch, man. You hear me? The bitch busting, but the bitch like she like cool, she chill and all that. And I'm like, okay, boom. So I'm trying to be big pimp. You hear me? Where we going next? She got me driving the car. I ain't had no whip at the time. She got me driving a little 3 Series BMW. You hear me? Black, nice, and all that and all that. I'm feeling like a big old pimp. I don't know nothing about the game.
How old?
I was what? How old was I? 19. I was 19. 19. Yep, I was 19. And after that, they say that a real pimp learns the game from a real hoe. You hear me? A real pimp learns the game from a hoe. You hear me? Ain't no nigga just about to come in the game and just be like, oh, I'm a pimp, bitch, this is what we boys do. I'm 16, I'm about to just... Nah. A real pimp learns the game from a hoe. You hear me? If I'm lying, I'm flying, Jack. But we went to Alameda, we went to this and all that. She doing this. I'm sitting in the car. I'm acting like I know this shit, but I don't. She telling me like how to move, how to count them. I'm supposed to, hello, you hear me? So I'm learning the game and all that and all that. So I'm chest out, poked out, and I'm, you hear me? But other than that, store was real vibrant. She really put me on my toes, you hear me? But she got my ego up, and I start feeling myself. I start feeling myself, and I end up, you hear me, felt like I was just too big for her and all that because of my ego and what I was learning and what she taught me. You hear me? I bit the hand that feed me, but at the end of the day, I was still eating. But after that, I just started moving. And I just started learning little by little, little by little, little by little. And then I just felt like I was just like, number one. I felt this shit like, it was like, this me. This me.
It felt right?
It was me. This is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. It don't matter what, this is it. I fell in love with it. I started learning the morals of it. I wasn't moving right. And then I started learning the first rule of the game. What'd it say? Before you get yourself what'd it say, V? Before you get yourself right with the game, get yourself right with God. You hear me? And I didn't know what that meant. And a lot of these motherfuckers, they don't understand that the game God is something real. They don't believe in the game God. They don't know what the game God is. You hear me? But the game God is something real, though. It's something that motherfuckers should really look into when it comes down to the game and learning the aspects and the morals of the shit. Because he will spank you. It is, but it ain't what it is. But
The respect for the game is...
respect for the game is rules and regulations. How you move is determine how your outcome is to the motherfucking prosper and the motherfucking elevation. Everybody ain't gonna win. There's a lot of motherfuckers out here that's boof. Niggas ain't, they ain't it. You had Supreme on the show, right?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, he touched my heart. When he said that, make me want to cry, I swear to God on Pimp God, everything he's saying was real.
Yeah, he knows.
The game is a trend. Everybody a pimp. You hear me? Everybody a pimp. But it's like LA is different from South and all that and all that. It's more gangbangers than it is genuine straight pimps. You hear me? We call them pimp streeters. You hear me? It's a gangbanger that respect the game in every way possible. You hear me? But it's like people mix the gangbanging and respect.
And they're driving it into the ground.
Yeah, and then these new niggas coming around and everybody a pimp, and they don't have no morals of the game. They don't know who gang God is. They don't know if you knock a bitch, you supposed to serve. If you supposed to, they don't know there's rules with this shit. And that's why it's lovely, because it's rules. You hear me? The rules makes it beautiful. The game is beautiful. The game is beautiful. If everybody follow the rules, this shit will be beautiful. Your bitch supposed to get knocked. It's supposed to, I didn't sweat niggas bitches. Niggas pulled up with guns. Trying to shoot a nigga. Respectfully. You hear me? I seen it all, done it all. It was like this one dude put up with a Uzi. He put up with a Uzi and all that, like, hey, stop sweating my bitch. If y'all know me, y'all know me. On Pimp Street, Long Beach Boulevard, I'm gonna sweat your bitch. I'm walking to Boston Slauson. If I'm lying, I'm flying, Jack. If I'm lying, I'm flying. If y'all know me, y'all know me. But at the end of the day, sweat his bitch and all that. He put up with the Uzi. Hey man, woo, sweat my bitch, man. Don't say nothing to her. You got that, Jack. I will not sweat your bitch no more, Jack. Cause I'm not about to end up killing you, or you're not about to kill me over a bitch that's gonna leave you tomorrow, Jack. Respectfully. So 2 days later, I seen him at the gas station. Hey man, I walked up to him. Hey, respectfully, what's going on, bro? What's going on, man? I'm Deucey. Woo. Hey man, look, I'm just doing my job. You hear me? I don't mean no disrespect towards it. You hear me? I'm just a motherfucker. Some game that's trying to. You hear me? Trying to knock the bitch. Respectfully. You hear me? I'm just doing my job. He like, oh man, I don't know how this shit go. I'm just a longshoreman, man. I just got this bitch down, and I'm just trying to just make some money, man. I'm like, respectfully, bro. It's rules and regulations. I broke it down to him, gave him a little and you hear me? Like, let me switch your bitch. You hear me? I gave him the rules. He ended up maneuvering. He like, Deucey, man. Hey, appreciate you, man. I apologize, bro. I ain't mean to do all that. I don't know about this shit. I don't know what's going on. After that, I swear to God, oh Pimp God, every time he see me, he acknowledged me. He'd jump out the car mid-traffic. Deucey, what's going on? Woo. It's respect, you know? But it's a lot of dudes that's airheads that's just, every action don't need a reaction. You hear me? Some niggas see a gun, pull a gun, or I gotta kill him and all that. Like, I'm calling the homies and all that, like, man, I'm about to blow this nigga, like, whoa, respectfully. But it's like, Deucey, you be over there every day. Well, what if you don't? And your car and all this, they go sit. It's risky. So why would I want to sit there and want to play my cars and go this long route that these niggas out here doing, disrespecting the game and just taking shit into their own hands? Why not chop it up with them? Now, to this day, we cool. But if I went the other route, what that would have got me? You hear me? I'm some gang.
What is it that people, pimps are so hated by most of society? What is it that people don't understand about the game and pimps and
the prosperity, the way you supposed to elevate that woman that you have.
How are you elevating
hear me?
them, though?
Pimps was only made for hoes. You hear me? There's hoes out here that's broken. Every bitch out here they're broken. So you never know what they go through in life. Every bitch that I ever talked to, ever had in my stable, I sat there and talked to them. I want to learn the darkest, deepest secrets that they ever went through in their life. And I talked to every single one of them. Every single one of them is different and it's deep. Like
weird,
how
dude.
you do this, and you hear these people's stories.
And he's getting leverage on you.
And you people go through so much. I don't judge nobody in this world. But you never know what they go through.
That's a lie.
That man standing on the corner that asks for change, that man that's out there on drugs, that little teenager that's out there on drugs, you don't know what he been through. You judging him. You don't know what he been through. It's like people go through a lot of shit, and to sit there and get these females and sex trafficking, I don't know where they get what I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's sickening. That's me personally. I'm gonna call the police. You hear me? Respectfully. Sex trafficking? You forcing somebody to what? You taking somebody to what?
He's full of shit.
That's so disrespectful towards. That's demonizing. That's the worst.
We all know how pimps make money. You hear this fucker? He's so full of goddamn shit.
Trade possible. But when it comes to pimping, people put pimping in a bad perspective, as if you're for. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of people out here that's by force, not choice. It's a lot of gorillas out here. It's a lot of people that's just worried about the money.
Yeah, and they give the game a bad name.
That's all they want is the money. They don't give a fuck what this bitch doing, what this bitch want. They want the money. You hear me? So the bitch bring back for 300. He wants 600. He gonna do everything in his power to make her get 600. So that's what the game is fucked up about, because these people don't know the morals of the game. Me personally, I'm not here for the money. I want her mind, body, and soul. If I can build her and make her a better person at the end of the day, and she can get on with her day, I swear to God, on Pimp God, on my soul, I feel like I feel more humane. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Lingo bingo, you know. I'm trying to tune in with you.
Nothing wrong in building.
Yeah, if I can sit there and make her a better person, or teach her something that she didn't know, or put her in position to elevate in any kind of way possible.
Instead of $30.
You hear me? I'll be cool. Cause at the end of the day, a bitch is gonna come, a bitch is gonna go. You hear me? But this comes down to the game and people put it in perspective. I understand it, because it is some fuck ass people out there. It's some gorillas out there. It's some hoe hustlers out there. You hear me? It is. And he's but the only thing that fucks around with a real pimp is a fake 304 or a bullshit bitch. It's a lot of them in this generation. It's a lot. They come in your stable and play with you. They'll pay you while paying somebody else. And what you think, I'm about to just, oh, you can go ahead and pay both of us? Or I'm about to just be like, oh, you fucked me up. You could just leave, go pay him. It's respect at the end of the day. That's just like if somebody come in your household and end up fucking your household over, or selling your products in your house to somebody else. What are you gonna do? You just gonna sit there and just be like, oh, just get out of my house and just leave? He's disrespecting you in every kind of way. You hear me? So it's like, if you let him walk, then your name is bullshit. He's soft. And these bitches get around. A bitch come in your stable, and you hear me? You do something to her, she'll leave and talk down on you, and keep on going. And she on the blade. There's bitches that's, and it just passing around like about what she's saying about you. It can go to 16 other bitches, and now your name is looking trash.
Mm-hmm.
You simp, you soft, you this, you that, you ain't no real. Now your name is demolished. It's like, that's why every action needs a reaction, but every action don't need a reaction, if that makes sense. But I learned that every action don't need a reaction. And people go talk about you, people go about you and all that and all that. At the end of the day, if you know your character, you know who you are, that's all that matters. That's, the game is...
But when I ask what people don't understand, it's like in the hood, it's all about survival. And there are ways that people can survive that might require where prostitution comes in the picture, because mowing lawns ain't gonna cut it. Selling drugs isn't gonna cut it sometimes.
It was about that. Now it's not. You hear me? It's not about that anymore. It's not about survival. It's about the publicity. Like, it's females out here that's hoeing that just like the publicity. They not here to get no money and stay down and stack up and build with individuals. They here just to look good, be cute, be on the blade naked and just look cute. These bitches don't come on. It's just like these pimps. These niggas ain't got no felonies. These niggas ain't got nothing, but they want to be a pimp. It's like,
well, if you get charged as a pimp, that's a life sentence. I guess depending where you're at. In most places, you're looking at a life sentence for sex trafficking and being a pimp. So where this guy's over here, he's like a fucking hypocrite. He says one thing and then the next he says another. It's fucking annoying.
This generation in it for the publicity. They be in it just to be in it because they want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
Are they making money?
Man, I swear to God on Pimp God, these niggas ain't making no money. They ain't making, because they not no pimp. These bitches running their own program. You hear me? They running their own program. They going out when they want to go out, and he don't want to lose her. And the baddest thing about the game is, once you make a bitch feel like you need her, the bitch take advantage of every single moment of the situation. And these simp ass niggas go into catering to her. And that's what's fucked up about the game. You hear me? Because she with this weak ass simp ass nigga, and then she end up trying to finesse him, and then she end up fagging off on him, trying to give him some pippin. Respectfully. I'm some pippin. You hear me? At the end of the day, I swear to God on game God, I ain't never in my life did no fuck shit. I ain't never in my life did no free fuck. I ain't never free fuck no bitch, and anybody on this motherfucker can come and I cash up you 1,000 on Pimp Street. I ain't never did no free fucking. I ain't never went against my morals with the game. I ain't never sit there and downplay my bitch with another square bitch up in my room, fucking another square bitch while my bitch down. And on Pimp Street, 70% of these niggas, every day, free fucking. Going against the morals. These niggas out here free fucking. These niggas out here doing fuck shit out here, fucking the bitch over. And then now the bitch come to me. She insecure. She thinking that a nigga out here doing some square shit. The bitch is broken even more because these weak ass niggas out here getting in the game and out here misleading her. You hear me?
Is anybody making money?
Making money in this game? I probably say 20% of the game is making money. 20%. Because that's some real stump down home and some real stump down pimping that's really focused on the goal. You hear me? It's 20%. It's some money out here. You hear me? But the potential is that once a bitch feel like, oh, she made enough, these niggas will bring her in because they don't want to lose the bitch. And that's the fucked up thing about it. These niggas don't want to lose the bitch, so they cater to the bitch. And the bitch come to me, I'm a demon. Oh, I'm not the, what is it, P? I'm reckless. Oh, I need a break. I need this, I need that. At the end of the day, it's like they don't have no morals of the goal. Like they just feel like they just want to be out there, just be out there. Then when they out there, they socialize and they chilling. There's no money. I ain't gonna lie to you, Jack. These bitches ain't making no money. I've seen bitches catch 2 dates, go back to their room, pay for their room, and go back to their room and go to sleep. They get by. 20% of the game of people is making money. They making money, respectfully. Because I had this motto, when I used to and all that and all that. I'm a college student, remember that. But
he does that a lot.
You can't come back in until you make quota. Respectfully. You hear me? If you don't make either $800 to $1,000 in your day, because I know her potential. You hear me? I know she could. You hear me? But you can't come back in. And I promise you, she makes it every time. Swear to God, on Pimp God. You hear me? But it's a lot of niggas that's not game related, that's not really on a bitch neck to really make that kind of money. They make $300, $400 a day. The $200 is cool, as long as they pay for their room and buy some weed. As long as the pimp, they're pimp, buy some weed, buy some perks, you know, for gas in this little, and most of them be on the bus. You hear me? Ain't got no cars. Long as she can satisfy him and he can buy some weed and do all that, they good.
It's crazy.
What kind of girl do you look for?
Me, I look for a woman that's game related. A woman that's really, really, really mentally, physically, and solely invested in the game. That's just nowadays it's hard to explain it because you don't really run into them.
Does she have to be brainwashed in order to?
Brainwash is not the key. Brainwash is what these bitches is now.
That's what you get the human trafficking almost.
Yeah, brainwash is what these bitches is now. They think that this is a quick dollar. If you want it for the dollar, it's not the game for you. Well, I'm talking about when it comes to a pimp. Well, a hoe, at the end of the day, it is about the dollar. It's about every dollar. Because these niggas get their dollars and end up, you hear me? Buying a $300 outfit and looking good on a Saturday night. You hear me? And it's a whole lot of shit to this shit that it's like you just gotta just sit back and let shit go.
How'd you grow up?
I grew up. My mom.
How'd you grow up?
Um,
It's a random question
hard
thrown
worker.
in there.
My dad, gangbang. To this day, respectfully. Mike Scott, gangbang. You hear me? But my mom
And where was
always
it? Where was this?
Compton.
Compton.
Yeah, Compton, California. But my mom was always hardworking. But it's like the fucked up thing about it that my mom never gave up on us. My mom never turned her back on us. She was always there, but it was something about me and my little brother that we wanted to engage in the street life. It was something about it. Like, me and my little brother, like, we was 15, 16, 17, something like that. We always wanted to go to jail because we seen our older cousins, big homies going to jail. And
We
was
always
cool.
wanted to go to jail.
My
What the
mom
fuck?
always tried to hide us and tried to shield us, protect us from that kind of life. And as boys, we wanted to experience, anything parents tell us not to do, we do anyway because we want, it's just something about it.
Did you feel like there were other choices for you?
Growing up, I always been different. I always been the one to try something new. To, like me, I tattooed. I made my own clothing line. I pursued and trying to be a fireman after high school because I felt like I was playing football. Football didn't work out, and I was trying to get a scholarship. It didn't work out, so I was trying to figure out something. But the only reason why I graduated high school was because of my mom. My mom been to every football game, never missed one football game. I remember her car got messed up, and she took the bus to 3 football games just to come see me play. You know, I was weak as fuck, respectfully. But she never missed a game. You hear me? And I respect her, and that would push me to graduate high school.
That's important for a kid.
Yeah, to see my mom, because I realized in 11th grade what I was putting my mom through. I was bad. We was bad. School called my mom every single day. My mom got off work and came to school no matter what, but we didn't know what we was putting her through. You hear me? But I realized that in 11th grade. All the shit I was putting her through, but it was like, damn, that's fucked up. You hear me? And she always worked, so she never had time to see what we was doing. We was robbing houses, we was flocking, we was doing all kind of shit. But my mom, she never knew because she was always working, and we always did shit until we start catching cases and police raiding our houses for no reason. Then she trying to figure out what's going on, and she always had our back though. Even when we got into in trouble at school, she always had our back. Or the teacher was wrong, she always protected us. She always was there. Like, she never. But when we got to the house, we knew what's up.
Where was your dad?
My dad, he was there, but he was always in the pen. You hear me? He was always in jail. He was always in the pen. But my dad always, every Christmas, he'd send us something. Every birthday, he'd send us something from the pen. You hear me? He was always engaged. Like my dad, he used to fuck me up, but I was daddy's boy. Even though he like fucked me up and all that, I was my daddy. And even when my dad used to call from the pen and all that, I used to want to talk to him, but my brothers and sisters was like, I'm not here. And I used to be like, that's fucked up. Like it's our daddy, like. But it's like, you hear me? I understand why, but he wasn't fully invested in us, so they wasn't, they didn't give that same energy. So, but I always was a daddy's boy because I always felt that I was like, mentally, I was always strong mentally since I was a kid. But I did everything that you could think of. I tried to join the Army. After 12th grade, I got a felony and all that. Burglaries, robberies, possession of firearms. And that fucked me up because I was gangbanging during that time. After high school, I was on house arrest playing football, high school football.
No other. You never saw any other options for you?
My only way out, growing up in the city, only way out was football. Only way out was football.
And if you're not
If you didn't do football, if you didn't
get a
football,
scholarship,
it was what get a job. And me, my mentality, I was never a get a job type dude. I was always want to do something bigger. I started my own business. I did my I did online businesses. I did, but I'm never consistent. That's what fucked me up. I was never consistent. If something didn't work, I jumped to the next, and that's why I always had a different trade from everything. Fixing cars, making clothes, starting clothing lines, photography, tattooing. Damn.
Well, you never got really paid from anything. You never stuck with
I did all
anything.
kind of shit. But it's like, I always tried to find something bigger, but nothing ever worked out for me. And it was like, I was trying to find it. Fuck, let me go to the Army. Denied. The Army, Marines, Air Force, denied me. You hear me? And that's what fucked me up. And then I started applying for jobs because I was a felon now. I got emails. I swear to God, thank God I got emails. Sound talking about, you are not qualified for this job. Your background check do not check out. You're not. So it discouraged me in a way. You hear me? So, but in our world, the only way to get a job is in a warehouse. You hear me? Agencies, staffing agencies, you go get a job, you'll get a job at the warehouse. That's what everybody started doing now. Now everybody doing warehouse jobs. You hear me? Forklift. So now first I was doing regular little working trucks and all that, and it's hectic. And everybody that work warehouse, they know it's hectic. You hear me? You get paid what? How much you get paid? $300 a week? What? Bust my ass. Then I was like, boom, let me elevate. Forklift driver.
you can make that in an hour here.
Man, I don't think I can. Hello. If I ever put on a motherfucking team shirt, I'd probably kill myself, Jack. I don't know, man. If I ever go back to a 9-to-5, man, you gotta be real humble. You gotta go through some shit to engage in the game, then go back to a 9-to-5. Because at the end of the day, it's about elevation. If you in this game, you just in it just to spend, and that's where I fucked up at. I didn't really have any morals with this shit until I learned. Now it's all about elevation. Niggas can get some money and they can spend it, but it's like, what are you gonna do with it? There's so much shit that you can do with it. So much shit that's out there for free that you can really sit there and really learn and put it to your own life and just elevate. Like when it comes to credit, when it comes to businesses, LLCs, when it comes to you getting all this money. We getting all this money. All this money. Imagine it. What is it? That's $1,000. But say let's go $600. Let's go $500 a day. Boom. Respectfully, I'm gonna have her do the little calculations. $500 a day, a week. That's what?
3,500.
500 times 7.
35
3,500 a week,
a week.
and that's $500 a day.
One girl though.
One girl. $500 a day. A week, 3,500, right? 3,500. What would you do with $3,500 a week? Some people get paid that much a week or whatever, and that's $500. Okay. 3,500 times what? What is that? 3 weeks in a month, or 4 weeks in a month?
4.
4 weeks in a month. 35 times 7. 4.
14,000.
14,000 a month. What are we doing with it? Buying rooms, buying a bitch some clothes, hair, buying outfits, buying clothes, buying this, buying that.
Yeah.
But what are we really doing? What are we really doing? It's stocks, bonds, it's all kind of stuff that we can pursue, but we don't, because our mentality as And me, that's what I'm fucking up at. How can you put yourself in position to win with this money that you're getting now? It's like, what are you doing it for? And that's what we brainwash with. Us youngest, we brainwash with just getting the money and just, let's have fun. The bitch gonna come, the bitch gonna make it, the bitch gonna do it. Let's just have fun. Oh, let's go buy another car. Let's go buy another this, buy another that. But it's like, then what? And that's where I fucked up at. And that's where my elevation in the game, that's where I'm trying to elevate in my life.
I find this guy incredibly boring. So, I'm gonna play a game. Triangle. I'm literally about to get right up. I'm literally about to stand up, cat. Grab a drink. What the fuck is this? What the fuck? All this bullshit. Alright, let's try this. I don't know much about this game, but I dig the name. Gold treasure in the garden. It's just conveniently an X. Super mega digger. Explodes when battery gets empty. Can you chill? Before I start digging, what is all this? I have no money. I'm assuming you can fix stuff. Do I have to click for every single one? Start digging a hole. Fuck it. Alright, now what do I do with my inventory? Can I sell shit? $5. Charge. I don't have anything. So. Oh, okay. That's pretty sick. Let's just keep going. This guy's literally just going and selling a rock on the internet. I found a rock. I found a rock. So, kid, what do you do for a living? I sell rocks on the internet for money. Ugh. I'm just quite literally digging a hole. Coal. Jetpack. Battery. Will increase my shovel. This makes me want to listen to that, like, Dwarven metal music. Digging. Charge. Show. Inventory. Yeah. Digging holes. Dynamite is $100. Iron. definitely need to upgrade this shovel. We need some moolah. This bitch water, dude. Yeah. What's up, sheds? When you want to be held, you will make your way up here no matter what, huh? Dude, I can't wait to get some fucking dynamite and just blow a big ass hole. Fuck the neighbors, right? Just boom. Stone. Oh wow, this hole's getting kind of deep, dude. That's funny. That's great. Inventory full already? Yeah. Too bad I can't just like hold the button down and it just dig for me. Oh shit. Object detected. Okay. Okie dokie. Whoop! Oh, thought it was just gonna go right in my hole there. Dude, I wonder how much money I could get by setting off a dynamite. That's ridiculous. Everything's $100 now. Dig, 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 dig. Gotta dig, 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 dig. Or destroyed. Get fucked. Thought it would just like fall down or some shit. You need a bigger shovel. There we go. Interesting. What does that mean? Hey, oh sweet. Found a bundle of money. Nice. Best run so far. Once there's gonna be some shit, like you're gonna find like a dead body or some shit. Where is all this extra dirt going? Like, what is Homeboy even doing with it? Or is that the question I'm not supposed to be asking? Bigger shovel. course I had to buy it. Oh. Oop. That was a bum. What did the bum do? I've dug myself a little hole here. Just draining the resources from his backyard over here. When do we find gold? What about that money? We'll just keep making more money. So. What if you get stuck in your hole? Like you use all your battery and you can't climb out. That's interesting. So, hey there. Oh shit. Whoops. That was a waste. I made $20. Is that a pit, dude? You can fall down a pit? Oh, bro, shit's about to get crazy. I need to get some more dynamite and throw it. New material found, copper. Sweet, dude. I don't know how much that's gonna be worth. Fuck. I can see how that goes bad real quick. Battery, jetpack. Yep. Oh shit. I want to go down that pit, but I don't want to get stuck. Imagine losing a game where your only job is to dig a hole. Mm-hmm. I wish these upgrades weren't so expensive right off the bat, dude. Make this nice and open. If I'm gonna jetpack out, I don't want to get fucking stuck. Cool. Jesus, what the hell is this? Give me the big fucking rock. What the fuck is this? wonder how many times I've clicked my mouse in this game. What even is this thing? What is that noise? Oh. Click, 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 click. Inventory full. What the fuck is this big giant rock thing, dude? I'm not understanding. I want to see how high I could go. Nice. Wait a minute. Wasn't this a big giant hard rock? What's up, dude?
Yo, what up, bruh?
Off early, dude?
Good shit, dude. You know, bruh.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to watch the kids for like an hour and a minute in a bit.
Chill, bruh. Chill, bruh.
He's like, Bruce showed up and I dipped.
Fucker showed up late. It felt like I was his boss. Oh, sorry, man. There's a traffic jam up here by Walmart. I'm running a little late. Well, thanks for letting me know that you're getting a ride up, man.
Yep. You're getting right up.
Guess how many memberships Trista's sold so far?
5.
0, mother.
That's horrible.
Over there whining and crying to me